Well, at Banfi, we're nearing 100 years of a great family legacy. But that legacy couldn't be what it is today without tremendous dedication.
We often say that if one person makes a good wine in a region, it's not going to really make a difference in the greater wine world. But if a community, if a territory, if an area starts making better wines, then that area will start to get recognized and be put on the map.
I remember when Banfi first invested in Montalcino, it was a revolution. They modernized old countryside, which was olive groves and vines and everything else mixed up.
We created really a wine estate that was very much dedicated to research and development. We experimented with a lot of grape varieties that hadn't existed in Tuscany for centuries. 15 of the grapes of clones of Sangiovese that we founded at the estate, we registered those with the Italian government. And we're actually the only single producer in Italy ever to register our clonal work. We wanted to be able to not only use the research for ourselves, but also to share it with the community at large so that everybody could start making better wines.
At any moment should be the best that you can do. And my father's understanding of how to deliver that to customers really came together.
It's a big part of what the wine trade needs to be these days, to receive visitors, to explain what they're doing. And of course, the better quality of the reception, the better for everybody concerned.
A philosophy of my family's has really been to give back as much as possible.
Giving back can mean a lot of different things to different people. It can be giving financially, giving of your time, and I think helping students and giving them the opportunities to see the world and to experience things that they normally wouldn't be able to do or a university could provide for them, I think has really been a treasure for us.
I've spent the past 10 years studying the differences between givers and takers. It turns out that in the long run, the most successful individuals and organizations are not the takers, they're the givers. When I think about the people and the organizations that truly model giving, I think immediately of the Mariani family and Banfi Vintners. The work that they've done to give back and help the next generation of students is exactly what we need to see in the world. When you succeed, that actually allows other people to succeed too.
In life, that's what can always help other people, young people, other business people, colleagues, competitors even, is just giving advice, giving your own experience so everybody can kind of learn through this network of people that can all work together in order to achieve greatness.
But that's wisdom that's passed down. And I hope that as in the future, as generations of family and associates come into Banfi for the next 100 years, that we continue to share that wisdom down from generation to generation.
It's amazing to think that since 1978, when the Banfi Chair of Wine Education at Cornell was established, that over 40,000 students have taken that course.
I think it's very important that the wine industry gives back to the students on the educational level. The Mariani family support and endowment has allowed many students like me to benefit because in the long term, there will always be a return on that investment.
My father always taught me from the past that, we have to leave the business healthier than when we entered it. When I looked at the partnership of my father and my Uncle Harry, I realized how integral the success of the company was because of the strength of their partnership.
I myself was able to first work in the family business back in 1985. If it wasn't for the strength and endurance of a family business, it did bring about a sense of continuity, a feeling for associates, as well as everyone who had really given their heart to make Banfi successful, that it would continue, not just in a bottle of wine, but also in the people and the family.
It's exciting today to be in a role as a co-CEO with my first cousin, James. I'm very honored that I've been able to be given this title and this responsibility within our family business. We have the same values because we're from the same family. We really grew up together. My goal as a co-CEO today is really to help prepare the company for the future. I also hope that one day future generations of the family will get involved in the business.
As a family in the wine business, we should do our best to always maintain that integrity. That is the legacy and the experience that Cristina and I will now work very hard on passing to the grandchildren of John and Harry. And to be part of that joy is what gives us a tremendous amount of pride and dedication that is Banfi.
Thank you all. I don't know how to say this, but my family and I are so humbled by this award that is beyond expression. And also, Peter stole all of my speech tonight, and the dean took the remaining part. So here I am. I want to thank the dean and lovely Jill and welcome them home, and thank Peter and Nancy, Peter was my ski instructor, along with Nancy, and Pam and I for many years had such a delightful time. And by the way, Peter, I still owe you for that last lesson that I never gave back then. And just to be secure that I didn't three-putt tonight, Peter asked one of our dear friends, Chuck Rolls, All-American over there. Cornell's one of the first All-American basketball players that held all the Ivy League scoring records. He's now playing up at the seniors in Connecticut. So the two of them are the hub of what really Cornell is about, friendships. Next week, I go back to my 60th reunion, and I can't tell you how elated I am. Bob Hope has said, or when they asked him, because Bob left at about 100 or 101, Mr. Hope, what was the biggest surprise you had in your life? He answered, how fast the time went. It's so true, and this is what Cornell is about, the esprit, the camaraderie. We have to thank all of those past Cornell Hotel Society presidents who have gelled this college into being the #1 in the world in hospitality. Now, tonight there are a few people who are associates in the industry that I'd love to say thank you for supporting the scholarship fund. They're out there, Wayne Chaplin and Mel Dick from Southern Wine and Spirits, Jay Davis and Tom White, Republic National Distributing Company, Lloyd Sobel and David Drucker of Empire Merchants, New York, Robert Epstein and Benjamin Rubenstein of Horizon Beverage, Stu Leonard and his family, and by the way, congratulations, Stu, because I understand your daughter just completed her first year at Cornell Hotel School with straight A's. There's another gentleman out there who's legendary, a friend for very many years. I want to just say to him, congratulations and long life. His name is Sirio Massioni. He is also an honorary member of the Cornell Society of Hotelmen. Now, I don't know if you ever saw on television one of the stories of Sirio's life, but one of my favorite moments is an evening scene at the conclusion where he stands next to Pope John Paul. And the Pope says to Sirio, Sirio, I understand you've got a very good restaurant in New York. Would I have to make a reservation for dinner? Sirio, with his sense of humor, says, no, Your Holiness, anytime you want to dine, you call me. The Pope says, thank you, Sirio. Then Sirio says to the Pope, Your Holiness, when my time comes, must I make a reservation? There's Steve Mikowski out there, our blessed Banfi chairholder in food and beverage. He's educated more than 40,000 and put them into the field to become better and better beverage managers, hospitality, and servants to the public. Above and beyond all, I would like to thank the past presidents of the Cornell Society of Hotelmen for making this the premier school in the industry. Tonight, a very, very special thanks to our most beloved president, Emeritus of Cornell, who took the time to be here and enjoy the evening with us, Dr. Frank Rhodes. Frank, to so many of us, he was an inspiration. And years ago, after a golf round, I'm in the clubhouse. Two players come in, they're from Yale. They said, "John, you're from Cornell, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, I'm in." They said, "How the hell were you so lucky to get Frank Rhodes as your president?" It's a lasting tribute to an outstanding and inspirational gentleman. Now, education is foremost, and that's what we're about here tonight, and we look forward to it. Cornell, we had wonderful, inspiring professors. They took an interest in us. We learned to be creative, to have ideas, to have the courage to go forth with our convictions and to persevere. These are the fundamentals which me and my family found to be so vital in our careers. As we went, or in the 60s, wine was not a fashionable product in the United States. To me and my family, we grew up with it, and to Europeans, it was food. However, in discussions with Hugh Johnson, I said, "Hugh, how come the difference?" He said, "John, the Europeans will spend 30% of the disposable income on food. Then make a study of it. Americans are spending 9%. It was with this in mind that our team assembled. Most of them have now passed on, but we realized for wine to become popular in the United States, it had to become palatable. What we needed was wholesome wine that was enjoyable and affordable. We did that working for 3 years, technology instead of chemistry. We made a wholesome wine. It was called Mariani-May, and like love, it was pure and natural. Thank you all. Working with McKinsey & Company for a year and a half, we said, let's go on to the next scope. Using our imagination, we searched for property in the heartland of Tuscany. We found 7,100 acres and decided to plant it. Now, the planting went along with culling the grapes, perfecting science. We became a research center. McKinsey also said to me, "John, you can build a winery and make 5,000 cases a year. You can drink it all, you and your friends yourself. Go to 10,000 cases, you're going to have to start pushing people, but you won't make a profit till you reach 50,000 cases." So we went in, we contoured hillsides, we turned it into a research center. All of our efforts over 26 years were registered with the Universities of Milan, Bologna, and Torino. We pass the information freely throughout the industry. One of my prides was years ago when Bob Mondavi visited us for the first time, he said, "John, you're 5 years ahead of anything we have in California." Now, what has that meant to be a giver? When we first arrived in Montalcino, there were 7 wineries. It was the poorest hilltop town in Tuscany. Today, there are 297 wineries, millions of visitors. Montalcino is now the wealthiest hilltop town in Tuscany. Thank you again. You're all invited when passing through Italy to please come visit with us and see the second Taverna Banfi, which had been awarded a Michelin star. You're there, it's mesmerizingly beautiful. We'd like you to be our guests. Now, I say with a little bit of pride, we are perhaps the only winery in Tuscany that is Italian by culture and American in heart. We are subjected to American taxes. And with that, a little fun. 2 telephones. They ring, they ring, they ring, they ring. Hello? 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 Are you Father O'Malley from St. Francis Parish? I am. This is the United States Internal Revenue Service. Will you answer a few questions for me? I will. Is Peter O'Toole a member of your parish? He is. Did he give $25,000 to your church? He will. Thank you again. The last thing, my brother and I are yesterday's newspaper. Cristina and James are tomorrow's headlines. I'd like them to say a few words about the future. But before I go, there may be some of you that can remember a balladeer of the 1950s and 1960s. His name was Nat King Cole. He sang a poetic song called Nature Boy. It went something like, there was a boy, a very faint and charming chanting boy. They say he wandered very far over land and sea. And one fine day, a magic day, he came my way. And while he spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me, the greatest thing we'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. God bless you all. And now,
Perfect.
here is the future.
Thank you. Really, on behalf of my dad and James's uncle, we are so proud of him and so blessed and lucky to be taking over this beautiful company. And this evening has been such a building of joyous occasion. And I'm hoping that tonight, for my father, will hopefully relieve some of the disappointment he felt when years ago, I still remember this day, I had to walk into his office and say, Dad, I have to break some news to you. And he said, what, Cristina? I said, I'm going to go to Georgetown. I don't think he's ever forgiven me for not going to Cornell. So what I wanted to say, with all of you here, I think there's 700 of us this evening, and there's all of you as my witness. I want to be able to tell my dad that even though I graduated as a Hoya, The big red of Cornell still pulses through my heart. And I want to say thank you to Dean Johnson and to Cornell for really being the #1 in the entire world of hospitality, and for bringing together in this life all these bright and passionate people from so many different backgrounds and industries and places and cultures, and especially for always connecting people from all of those who went to Cornell and connecting them with those of us who didn't. So thank you, Dean Johnson, thank you, Cornell, and grazie.
Wonderful. From our family, our heartfelt thanks to Andrew McCartney for a brilliant Master of Ceremonies this evening, and especially the hard work that went into tonight's elegant affair, the Cornell I&I team that prepared this entire evening. We thank you. And how much sweet this night is, with many congratulations to Sandy Solomon. Absolutely extraordinary to share the stage with you and your innovation. Tonight, the Cipriani is brimming with icons and innovators. For many in this room, the forever icon is Cornell. We thank all for your altruism and for this honor this evening. Salute.